Hello everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, this is NIOS Made Easy. On this channel, we do subjects prescribed by the NIOS board for the secondary and the senior secondary classes. If this interests you, please take a moment to subscribe.
Today we'll be solving a previous year board question paper. This is an English paper. Request you to see this video till the very end. I'll be giving you a lot of tips along the way. Before we get started with the question paper, let us first understand the question paper pattern. The paper is for 100 marks and it's for 3 hours. You have a total of 20 questions in this question paper. These 20 questions are divided into 4 sections. Section A is reading or reading comprehension. Section B is writing. Section C is grammar. And section D is literature. These are the questions that come from the textbook. Let's get started. The first section is reading or reading comprehension. In this section, we have 2 questions totaling to 15 marks. One question is for 7 marks and the other question is for 8 marks. In this section, the student will have to read the passage and answer the questions that follow. One tip here is please do not skip reading through the passage and try to attempt the questions directly just to save time. Let's read the passage. The world's first folding phone. The Royal Beta Pi is not a great looking phone, but its flexible display works great. Anken may be just days away from taking the wraps of its very own foldable smartphones tablet hybrid, but consumer electronics company Royal Beta has stolen a bit of its thunder with its very own flexible display device. Called the Beta Pi, the 7.8-inch hybrid device can fold 180 degrees and transform from a tablet into a phone, albeit a bulky one. At an event in San Francisco this evening, Royal Beta brought out a working version of the Beta Pi that we actually got to hold, and the folding feature works as advertised. Granted, it feels miles away in quality from a high-end modern flagship, but it is still the first real foldable device I have seen in person and not just in a concept video or prototype stage. The Beta Pi will be available as a consumer device in India with a base model price of Rs 8,999 or around $1.30. You can pay that amount of money in USD for a developer version if you live in North America. That gets you 128 GB of storage, but you can double it for an additional $150 and an additional 2 GB of RAM for a total of 8 GB. This is the passage. Now let's get to the questions. What is special about the Beta Pi? This is a straightforward question and the answer lies in the title itself. Beta Pi is the world's first folding phone and it has flexible display. The Royal Beta Pi, this is the answer. The Royal Beta Pi is the world's first folding phone with a flexible display. Which company has brought out Beta Pi? Again, this is another direct question. It is the Royal Beta that has brought out a working version of the Beta Pi phone. It's right here. Next question. Which company was also in the race? The answer is here. This company Anken was just days away from launching its own phone. So Anken is the company. So Anken was the company that was also in the race. The fourth question is, Royal Beta has stolen a bit of its thunder. What does the italicized phrase mean? Stolen a bit of its thunder. This is an idiom. Stealing someone's thunder means to prevent someone from having a success by doing something or saying something before the other person. Read through in the passage again. Anken was the company which was almost about to launch its own foldable smartphone tablet hybrid, but the company Royal Beta stole its thunder and it launched its own flexible display device. The next question. Which among the following is a disadvantage of the phone? These are all the features of the phone. It is a 7.8 inch screen. It can fold 180 degrees. It is large compared to other phones and it is both a tablet and a mobile phone. The answer is C, which says that it is large compared to other phones. So the answer is here. They have not used the word large, but they say that though it can do all this, it's still a bulky phone. So that is the disadvantage of this phone. The cost of Beta Pi in India, again, it's a direct straightforward question. The cost of beta in India is rupees 8,999. The last question, how do you get the extra storage in beta pi? Again, this is a direct question. By paying $150, you will get some additional 2 GB of RAM. That was the first passage. Now let us go to the second passage. You should be able to complete both the passages in around half an hour's time. You should not take more than 30 minutes to do both these passages together. Carbon footprint. As the title says, this passage is on carbon footprint. A carbon footprint is defined as the total amount of greenhouse gases produced to directly and indirectly support human activities. The total amount of greenhouse gases is calculated in terms of its equivalent amount of carbon dioxide. Carbon footprint can be calculated for an individual, organization, or community. The greenhouse gas most commonly emitted by human actions is carbon dioxide. Other greenhouse gases which might be emitted as a result of human activities are methane and ozone. These greenhouse gases are also taken into account for calculating the carbon footprint. The best way to calculate carbon dioxide emissions is based on one's fuel consumption. When you drive a car, the engine burns fuel which creates a certain amount of carbon dioxide, depending on its fuel consumption and the driving distance. When you use air conditioners to cool your house, the generation of electrical power may also have emitted a certain amount of CO2, carbon dioxide. When you buy food and goods, the production of food and goods also emits some quantities of carbon dioxide. Your carbon footprint is the sum of all the emissions of CO2 which were induced by your activities in a given time frame. Usually, a carbon footprint is calculated for the time period of a year. Most people are shocked when they see the amount of carbon dioxide their activities create. If you personally want to work towards reducing global warming, you must calculate and constantly monitor your carbon footprint. That was the passage. Let us look at the questions. What is carbon footprint? This is a direct question. A carbon footprint is defined as the total amount of greenhouse gases produced to directly and indirectly support human activities. The next question. Human activities mostly produce dash, which is a greenhouse gas. This is a fill in the blanks question, so this sentence must be somewhere there in the passage. The answer is here. The greenhouse gas that is most commonly emitted by human actions is carbon dioxide. The other greenhouse gases which might be emitted as a result of human activities are methane and ozone. So the answer is human activities mostly produce carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. The third question, which among the following is true according to the text? Indirect human activities produce only CO2. Carbon footprint is the result of methane gas. Measuring CO2 in the atmosphere can stop global warming. Use of air conditioners increases the CO2 in the atmosphere. All the four options given in this question look correct, but they have asked us to tell the statement that is true according to the text. So for this, you will have to go back to the text and trying to see that option that is discussed in this passage. The fourth option is true. Use of air conditioners increases the CO2 in the atmosphere. And the sentence is here. So when we use air conditioners, it emits a certain amount of carbon dioxide. So that's the answer. The next question, carbon footprint is calculated by. This is again a fill in the blanks question. This is a direct question. The carbon footprint is calculated by summing up the emissions of carbon dioxide which were induced by your activities in a given time frame. So the whole sentence has to be written for this answer. The answer is here. Your carbon footprint is the sum of all the emissions of carbon dioxide which were induced by your activities in a given time frame. The carbon footprint is calculated like that. So that was the sentence. So you should be writing the complete sentence here as a part of this answer. Which amongst the following means of transport, if used, will leave the smallest carbon footprint? Train, bus, bicycle, auto rickshaw. The answer to this question is not there anywhere here in this passage. This is a question which you will have to answer after understanding the passage. So as we have read in this para, we have we have understood that when we drive vehicles, the engine burns fuel and as a result carbon dioxide is emitted. If you go back to this question, train, bus and auto rickshaw, all these three means of transport will leave some amount of carbon footprints. So it is bicycle which will not emit any carbon dioxide. According to the text, what is the only way to reduce global warming? The answer to this question is in the last passage. If we have to work towards reducing the global warming, you must calculate and constantly monitor your carbon footprint. That is the only way in which we can try to reduce the global warming created by carbon dioxide. Carbon footprint is calculated for a period of dash. This is also a straightforward question. Carbon footprint is calculated for a period of 1 year. The answer is in the last passage. Carbon footprint is calculated for a time period of 1 year or a year. The last question. Most people are shocked when they see the amount of carbon dioxide their activities create. What does the writer mean by this? Our activities produce more carbon dioxide than what we expect. We don't know how to calculate our carbon footprint. We need to cut down on some daily activities to reduce global warming. We need to consciously reduce carbon emission. Option C and option D is definitely not correct. According to the passage, we do not know how to calculate our carbon footprint, and that is the reason most people are shocked when they see the amount of carbon dioxide their activities create. The next section is section B, that is writing. This section is for 25 marks and there are 4 questions in this section. The first question, that is question number 3, is paragraph writing. There are 3 situations given here. 3 options are there. Choose one of them to write a paragraph. And the paragraph has to be about 100 words. Again, in this question as well, don't quickly choose an option and start writing about it. I suggest read all the 3 questions and then decide on the option that you would like to choose. The first option is the number of people who are at risk of health problems due to being overweight is increasing. A large number of overweight people suffer from hypertension, diabetes, etc. State the reasons for the increase in the number of overweight people, both children and adults. Give your views on what the government can do to solve this problem. This is option 1. Option 2 is crimes committed against women and children in the society today are increasing. Some people think that unregulated sale and consumption of alcohol, use of drugs, and insufficient police patrolling are the reasons for the increase in crimes. Do you agree? State your reasons why crimes are increasing. In your opinion, what can the police do to bring down the rate of crimes? This is option 2. The last option is most schools have around 7 to 9 subjects that all students are required to study. Which subjects do you think must be made compulsory for students? Give your reasons why you think they are important for students to learn these subjects. Does studying these subjects contribute to the development of the society and the country? Having read all the 3 options, please take a moment and think in which of these 3 questions will you get more number of points to write. The first question is on people being overweight and the health issues that they get because of being overweight. The second option is on the crimes committed on women and how it can be prevented. The last question is more or less expressing your opinion on how many subjects you would like to study and why. For the purpose of this video, I'll go with option A because I feel I have more points to express in option A compared to B and C. I will not be writing the complete passage. Rather, I'll try to give you tips on how you can build up on this passage. This paragraph you will have to write is for 100 words. 100 words will more or less mean 10 to 12 lines in your full-scale A4 sheet. When you read this question, just try to jot down the important points you might want to discuss in this para so that it becomes easier for you to write, just like how I've done here. These are some very quick phrases or points that I have written down, which I would like to write as a part of my paragraph. A number of people are at the risk of health problems. This is a sentence I've taken from the question itself. And this is due to being overweight. A large number of people who are overweight suffer from hypertension, diabetes, etc. So again, the first 3 points that I've written here are all taken from the question itself. I've slightly reworded them to make it look like a para. Why do children and adults become overweight? This is a question asked for which we might have to add points. So some of the points I feel is what I've written down here. It can be overeating, leading a sedentary lifestyle due to the addiction to mobile phones, TV and computers, lack of daily exercise habits, eating a lot of junk food that lack nutrition, and eating too much of processed food. So these are some 5 points that I jotted down to explain why children and adults become overweight. The next point that is asked in the question is, what can the government do to solve this problem? They can ensure that there are parks and lung spaces to encourage people to exercise, promoting healthy food items. They can start community health and exercise programs. So these are some of the important points that I might want to write in my para, which I very quickly jotted down. If you just count the number of words in these points itself, you can see that it is like almost 114 words, which is asked in the question. A little more than 100 words, so this is good enough. So once you have points like this, you can just make them complete sentences, and this will be the answer to your paragraph writing question. The next question is on letter writing. Delhi tops the list of the most populated cities in the world. Write a letter to the chairman, Municipal Corporation of Delhi, drawing his attention to the health hazards faced by Delhi citizens. Give 5 suggestions to control air pollution, improve air quality in the city. This is for 7 marks. So let us first understand if we will have to write a formal letter or an informal letter. When we write letters to editors of newspapers, letters to the government, to the police, to the principal of our school, complaint letters, letters to the electricity board, to the water board, revenue department, etc., we'll have to use the formal letter template to write letters like these. We write informal letters to friends, parents, cousins, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts. Now, having understood that for this question, we'll have to write a formal letter, let us look at the template. A letter template becomes very important, at least for a formal letter. We start with the sender's address, that is the person who is writing this letter. The sender's address with the date, and then to whom we are addressing this letter to. It could be the chairman of a company, to the manager in the electricity board, etc. So that becomes our receiver's address. Then we'll have to write the salutation like respected sir or madam, followed by the subject. Please note that the subject is indented inwards, and then comes the body of the letter. And then finally, we will close the letter by writing thanking you or yours truly or yours sincerely. Let us quickly see what should come in the body of the letter. This is how the body of the letter has to be. It should have at least 3 paragraphs. In the first paragraph, introduce yourself and what is the purpose of writing this letter. In paragraph 2, we are giving details on the subject that we discussed above. Paragraph 3 is the concluding paragraph where we are trying to mention what we expect. That is a solution to the problem highlighted in paragraph 1 and paragraphs 2. This should be in the body of the letter. Let us go back to the question and see the information given in the question. The letter has to be written to the chairman of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. We are sending a letter to this person. They have not given the sender's name, that is who is writing the letter. That part of the letter has to be assumed. You can write a name and an address. These are dummy names and dummy addresses we use in our letters, which you can create on your own. The subject of the letter will be the health hazards faced by the citizens of Delhi due to air pollution. And finally, we'll have to conclude this letter by suggesting what can be done to control air pollution, improve the quality of air in the city. Going back to this template again, please write the contents well within this area that is specified within the rectangle. Don't go beyond this and write the contents. It is not going to look good. Let's see how we can start writing our letter. Since they have not given us the sender's details, we'll have to create a dummy name and a dummy address. Since they have spoken about pollution in New Delhi, we are assuming an address. This is a created address in New Delhi. The name and the surname, first name and the surname are again fictional, used for the purpose of this letter. The addresses are also fictional addresses, just created for this letter. First, we have the sender's details, followed by the date. Then we have the to whom this letter is going to be sent to, that is the receiver. This information is specified in the question, that is the chairman, municipal corporation. After that, we start with the salutation, that is respected sir, followed by the subject line. health hazards faced by the citizens in New Delhi due to air pollution. The subject line is available to you in the question itself. As we discussed, we'll have to organize the body of the letter into 3 paras. In the first para, it is going to be an introduction. So we are saying, I am Arvind, living in a colony for the last 20 years in Delhi. I'm seeing that the quality of air has deteriorated in the last couple of years, and this is posing as a serious health hazard to the residents of the city. There is an introduction followed by the subject or the topic that we are going to write as a part of this letter. The second para is the explanation of the actual problem due to the excessive pollution. Due to the excessive pollution, residents are suffering from asthma, bronchitis and allergy issues. There have been severe cases of lung damage due to pollution. You can expand this paragraph and you can include more points in this para. The last para is what you are expecting from the government in this case, the solutions you are expecting for the above mentioned issues. And in this question, they've asked you to write 5 points which will help reduce air pollution and have cleaner air. That is how we are ending this letter with the third para. We request you to help us increase the quality of air for our better living. So we are requesting for some things. Please ensure that heavy vehicles are not allowed within the city. Please promote and encourage people to use public transport, encouraging carpools, mandating the use of filters for the chimneys at home, promote and encourage the use of alternative sources of energy. You can get more similar points like this on the internet and be ready with 4 or 5 points on how air pollution can be controlled and reduced. Finally, you are signing off by saying best regards and Arvind Singh. If I zoom out, you will realize that the letter that is written is exactly like the template that we saw earlier. Also, you should understand that the complete letter is written in a single page. Please don't start the letter halfway through and continue the letter on another sheet of paper. It will not look good. So as far as possible, try to write the complete letter on a single sheet of paper. It will look good and it is much easier to read and understand. Let's move on to the next question. Water is the most precious thing in the world today. You notice that in your locality, there is indiscriminate use of water. People leave taps open carelessly. Water tanks overflow. And a lot of water is used for even small things like washing vegetables. Write in about 100 words a short paragraph for a local newspaper suggesting measures to control use of water and recycle the used water. This question is not again on paragraph writing. This is a report writing question. We can see it in this line. Write in about 100 words a short para for a local newspaper. So this is a report writing question and you are writing to the local newspaper on how you can control the indiscriminate use of water. Just like the paragraph writing question, you are supposed to be writing 100 words. 100 words is around 10 to 12 lines in your full-scape paper. Again, please spend couple of minutes thinking on the points that you would like to write. Couple of points will be available in the question itself. You can start with the sentence that is given to you in the question. Water is the most precious thing in the world today. Just a small walk around your locality will expose you to how indiscriminately water is wasted. Again, just like in the paragraph writing and in the letter writing, the content will be divided into 3 paras. The first para is more like an introduction to the topic. The second para is more about elaborating on the issue or the subject. And finally, the concluding paragraph is how the problems are tackled and a concluding line. The first 2 sentences here are from the question itself. Then moving on, taps left open, overflowing water tanks, excess water being used for washing vehicles, etc. are the main reasons for the indiscriminate use of water. A lot of water is used even for washing vegetables. So how is this problem tackled? Awareness camps have to be conducted at regular intervals, educating citizens on how important and precious is water. They need to be taught techniques on how to conserve water and to use water judiciously. Again, awareness need to be brought in on how water can be reused. Example, water used for washing vegetables can be used in bathrooms or for watering plants. One point to be noted is for report writing, we'll have to use reported speech and we cannot write a report using direct speech. The next question is this. Read the following conversation. Mr. Bajwa, may I speak to Dr. Rajput? Miss Kranti. Sorry sir, he has gone on his rounds. I can take a message for him. Mr. Bajwa, as per my appointment, I was supposed to meet him today at 5 p.m. I'm sorry I can't come today. I request for an appointment on Friday in the afternoon. Since Miss Kranti is leaving the office soon, she decides to write a message for Dr. Rajput. Write down the message. This question is on message writing. Usually in a message writing question, there are 3 characters. In this, the first is Mr. Bajwa, who is calling. Then there is another character, in this case it is Dr. Rajput. And we have Miss Kranti, who is the receptionist and who is taking the message. So the question is, Miss Kranti is leaving a message for Dr. Rajput. One point to note here is that this question has to be written in reported speech and in the past tense, because the conversation has already taken place and she is writing the details of the conversation as a message. The most important points we'll have to remember here is we should have a date, and it is not like a letter, but we definitely will have something like Dear Dr. Rajput, but nothing more than that. The message should read something like this. It starts with Mr. Bajwa had called. As per his appointment, he was supposed to meet you at 5 p.m. today, but he will not be able to make it today. He has requested for an appointment on Friday in the afternoon. That's the message, and she's signing off by putting her name. Another point that can be noted here is most of the words used in this message are from the question itself. Don't introduce any new words or don't try to add any new words or add any new content from what is already given to you in the question. The same sentences that are used, you can directly convert it into reported speech and write. The next section is section C, which is grammar. Let's look at the first question. This is a passage given to you with 6 blanks. And for every blank, you have 4 options given, and we'll have to choose the correct option. This is a question on prepositions. A preposition is a word in a sentence that will tell us about the place, position, time, or method. Prepositions usually come before nouns or pronouns. This question has been solved for you. The tour begins at Purana Killa, a legendary site in the city of Indraprastha. The answer for the first blank is option D, that is here. The tour begins at Purana Killa at a legendary site in the city of Indraprastha, home of the heroic Pandavas in the epic Mahabharata. The archaeological finds during the recent excavations at the Purana Killa are of a continuous settlement here from the 3rd century BC, since the late Mughal period. If you are good with prepositions, you will be able to do this passage easily. By reading the passage itself, you will be able to identify the correct option here and you will be able to do it. But in case you are not well versed with prepositions, I suggest read each of these sentences, and for every blank, try to fit in the options available here. The options that sounds good when you read it in a sentence will usually be the correct answer. So this is a question on prepositions. If you want to do more exercises on prepositions, it is in lesson 26, Ustad Bismillah Khan. The next question is a conversation given to you between a mother and a child. The question is, read the conversation given below and complete the paragraph that follows in indirect speech by filling in the blanks appropriately. So the conversation is here, followed by a paragraph. The activity is to convert the conversation which is in direct speech into indirect speech. Mother says, don't play with the toys after 8 p.m. Basur, I just started playing, Ma. Mother, but have you completed your homework? Basur, I forgot to complete only my science homework. Mother, then do it before playing. Basur, okay, in 5 minutes. The framework for the indirect speech is given to you here in the form of a paragraph. So for every sentence here in the para, just look at the conversation and appropriately convert it into indirect speech. One tip here is please don't use additional words to convert a text from direct to indirect speech. Basur's mother told him not to play with toys after 8 p.m. This is taken from this first conversation here. He said that he had just started playing. His mother asked him if he had completed his homework, and he replied that he had forgotten to complete only his science homework. Basur's mother asked him to do it before playing, and he said he would do it in 5 minutes. No new words have been used to convert the conversation here from direct speech to indirect speech. The words are all from the question here itself. So to do more exercises on direct indirect speech, it is available in the chapter Tiger Comes to Town Part 2. The next question is on linking words or conjunctions. Rewrite each of the following pairs of sentences as one sentence using the appropriate linkers from the box. There are more words than you need. So there are some linking words or conjunctions available given to you here. There are 3 pairs of sentences and you will have to join these 2 sentences using one of these words. The first question is, work hard with dedication and sincerity, you will succeed. The linking word or the conjunction used is if. So it is come right in the beginning of the sentence. If you work hard with dedication and sincerity, you will succeed. The second question, give full attention to your studies, you will succeed. You will succeed if you give full attention to your studies. The conjunction used again here or the linking word used again is if. The last question, Shyama Das ran very fast. She could not catch up with Hima Das. The linking word used here is though. Though Shyama Das ran very fast, she could not catch up with Hima Das. So these are the 3 pairs of sentences that you will have to join together and this is for 3 marks. This portion of grammar is taken from chapter 20, that is New Good Things from Rubbish. The next question is an exercise to convert sentences from active voice to passive voice. Rewrite the sentences given below by filling in the blank spaces with the passive form of the verbs. The first question, we will watch a movie tonight. The framework for the sentence in passive voice is already given to you, so you will just have to fill in these blanks. Please note that this will not be a single word, but it will be a phrase that you will have to fill in. Make the sentence into a correct sentence in passive voice. We will watch a movie tonight. A movie will be watched by us tonight. The second question, Usain Bolt ran the race in record time. The race was run by Usain Bolt in record time. The third question, Suman read the entire novel in a day. The entire novel was read by Suman in one day. You can do more exercises on active and passive voice from chapter 21, The Village Pharmacy. This next exercise is to construct questions. Complete the following conversation by filling in the blanks with the correct WH question words. This is an exercise to construct questions which starts with WH words. Read the conversation that is complete. So we'll start with this. Sidhu says, Vishnu is not coming to school today. So what's the question? The question will be, where is Vishnu? So the answer would be, Vishnu is not coming to school today. The second answer is, it is his birthday today. And the framework is here. The correct question would be, why is he on leave? The next answer is, I will meet him in the party this evening. The question would be, where are you going to meet him? So the correct answer will be, I'll meet him in the party this evening. The next answer is at his house. So the question is, where is the party? The party is at his house. I am planning to gift him a book. So the question would be, what will you gift him? The answer will be, I am planning to gift him a book. The last conversation, I don't know, maybe a biography. The question will be, which book are you buying? The answer will be, I do not know, maybe a biography. You can do more such exercises on WH questions in chapter 8, that is a birthday letter. The next exercise is, complete the following paragraph by filling in the blanks with the suitable forms of verbs given in the brackets. They've given you a verb and we'll have to fill in the blanks with the correct form of verbs. This is an exercise on verbs and you can do more of this from chapter 3, that is Kondiba a Hero. The fight against killing animals has become a major campaign in the recent years. The answer is has become, but the option given to you, the clue is just the word become. Some people have always felt that killing animals is immoral. Recently, however, activists took a more visible role. Organizations fought to convince people not to eat meat. Their efforts have been surprisingly successful. Some restaurants said that they will no longer include meat in their menus. Many celebrities chose to turn vegetarians. So the words given here are in brackets. If you read through this passage, you will know that this paragraph is in the past tense. So the past tense of these words have been used to fill up this para. So that was section C, that is grammar. If you are good with these portions of grammar, this section will be quite easy and you will be able to easily finish this section. You should not take more than half an hour to 40 minutes to do these questions from the grammar section. Moving on, the last section is section D, that is literature. From this section, you will get questions from the different chapters discussed in your textbook. Let's read the first question. Read the extract given below and answer the questions that follow. This is for 4 marks. So we have 4 questions here. One day, Rama saw a small brown squirrel. He was going up and down the seashore with pebbles in his mouth. The little squirrel could carry only little pebbles at a time in his small mouth. He carried the pebbles from the seashore and dropped them into the sea. This is from the chapter How the Squirrel Got His Stripes. The first question is, one day, what did Rama see? This is a direct question and the answer is available in this para. One day Rama saw a small brown squirrel. The second question, what was the squirrel carrying up and down the seashore? Again, the answer is in this passage. The squirrel was carrying little pebbles in his mouth and was carrying it up and down the seashore. The third question, why did the squirrel drop the pebbles into the sea? We will come back to this in a while. Let's look at the last question because that is also a direct question. Why did the squirrel carry only small pebbles? The squirrel was little. He had a small mouth, so he could carry only small pebbles. This answer also is available in the question itself. Coming back to this question 3, to answer this, you need to know the chapter. The answer to this question is not available in the passage. We should note that not all answers to the questions here are in the passage. It will be within the chapter. So we need to know the chapter to answer such questions. Why did the squirrel drop the pebbles into the sea? If you just go to this chapter, this is the para that is given to you in the question. This is the passage given to you in the question. The answer is not in this para, but it is in the subsequent paras. Here, the monkey says that he is helping Rama build the bridge. That is the reason he is carrying small stones in his mouth. So the answer is here. So the answer is the squirrel wanted to help Rama build the bridge. It wanted to work hard for him. So he dropped the pebbles into the sea. So this was question 13. Moving on to the next question. Again, we have an extract and we have 4 questions that follow. But we were far from being satisfied with such things as these. Our want of independence began to upset us. It was unbearable that we should be unable to do anything without the permission of our elders. At last, in sheer disgust, we decided to commit suicide. This is from the chapter Stealing and Atonement. This is also one such extract where all the answers are not directly available here in this para. To answer these questions, we'll have to know the chapter well. The first question, who are we mentioned in this excerpt? So this is not there in the question. Here, we refers to Gandhiji and his relative. The next question, what things were they unsatisfied with when he says such things as these? Again, the answer to this question is not available in the para. So they began smoking Indian cigarettes and stalks of a certain porous plant. So they were unsatisfied smoking these. So that's the answer. The next question, the third question, why did they feel they lacked independence? The answer to this question is available in this para. They felt that they lacked independence because they could not do anything without the permission of their elders. And what did they plan to do? The answer is in the passage. They plan to commit suicide. This is the text that has been given to you in the question. The answers to the other questions which we did not find in the passage are in the subsequent paras which are here. The next question. Read the extract given below and answer the question that follows. Again, 4 questions. The signal was given. The pistol exploded. And so did the runners, all charging ahead. But the smallest of them, he stumbled and staggered and fell to the assault instead. He gave out a cry in frustration and anguish. His dream and efforts all dashed in the dirt. This is from 9 gold medals. What event is being discussed by the poet? The event described by the poet is Special Olympics. When is the pistol fired? the pistol was fired as soon as the signal was given. This is here in the passage. What happened to the smallest athlete? Again, the answer is here. The smallest athlete stumbled and staggered and he fell down. Last question. Find two words which have similar meanings. The words frustration and anguish mean the same. The next question is different. These are multiple choice questions. If you have come to section D and you feel you are running short of time, these are some of the questions which you should never miss answering because these are multiple choice questions. It will get over with quite quickly. The first question, the master signed an affidavit before he was allowed to enter the room to bring the tiger out. So to answer these questions, you should know the chapter very well. This is from The Tiger Comes to Town. The answer is, the affidavit said that nobody was responsible for his death. The option is option B. The next question, the young man leaves his father because, this is from the chapter The Last Stone Mason. The young man left his father because he wanted to go to Agra and he wanted to make more money. So the option is option C. The letter saying Shivaji was dead was declared a hoax by Jijabai because Jijabai felt that Aurangzeb never spoke the truth. This is a question that is taken from the in-text questions of the chapter. The chapter is The Return of the Lion. The correct answer is option D. We are looking at question number 17. So we have two questions here and it is for 2 marks each. So we are expected to write around 1 to 2 sentences as it is specified here in the question. Why is Kezia more attached to her grandmother? Kezia was scared of her father and therefore did not feel free with him. Her parents never encouraged her to have a free and an informal interaction with them. So she was more attached to her grandmother. The next question. Why did Dr. Kurian give up his government job? Dr. Kurian left his government job because he felt that it was not a challenging job for him. He was looking out for some other job that was more challenging. The next question is question 18. There are 3 questions available to you, out of which you are expected to answer only 2. And for this video, I've just taken the first 2 questions. You will have to answer these questions in about 30 to 40 words. The first question, why did the master have to sign an affidavit before he was allowed to enter the room? For questions like this, please don't answer only for whatever is asked. Just give an introduction to the answer and then write the actual answer to the question asked here. Why did the master have to sign an affidavit? So we are just starting by saying the master was pleading with the authorities to allow him to enter the room in order to take the tiger out, but they refused. They felt that by going unarmed, he would be risking his life. So finally, after a lot of persuasion, the magistrate said that he would allow him on a condition that he would give an affidavit stating he was doing so at his own risk and that no one was to blame if anything went wrong. So irritated by this, the master agreed to sign an affidavit. The next question, how did the monkeys react when the squirrel said he is helping Rama build the bridge? The squirrel wanted to help Rama build the bridge. While doing so, he came in the way of a monkey who was carrying a big stone. The monkey had to jump back in order to save the squirrel's life. The monkey was angry with the squirrel and told him that his efforts were useless. The other monkeys thought that the squirrel was foolish and they laughed at it. So that's the answer. The next question, you have a choice again and you'll have to answer only one question, and I've chosen this. How did Gandhiji's father react to his confession? What lesson did Gandhiji learn from it? This is from Stealing and Atonement. So after Gandhi resolved never to steal again, he decided to confess to his father. He did not have the courage to speak to him and hence decided to write a letter. He wrote a letter asking for his forgiveness. The father read it through and tears trickled down his cheeks, wetting the paper. For a moment, he closed his eyes in thought and then tore up the note. He was crying and his agony was visible. Gandhiji learnt ahimsa from this incident. His father had shed tears of love. He learned that ahimsa changes everything it touches and ahimsa has limitless power. This is a question for which you will have to write an answer in about 100 words and you have around 98 words, which is good enough. The last question, again this is a multiple choice question. Which of the following are promoted by the poem A Prayer for Healing? I've just pasted the para from this poem and it says to promote justice and peace. So the answer is option C, that is justice and peace. The poem Prayer for Healing promotes justice and peace. So that's the answer. The next question. Most of all, I want to relearn. This is from the poem Once Upon a Time. The para is here and the answer is also here as well. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh for my laugh in the mirror. So the correct option is option A, that is how to laugh sincerely. With this, we have completed section D, that is literature, and the complete question paper. I hope this analysis of this question paper has helped you in some way. If you have any doubts or you need any clarifications, please feel free to put it in the comment section below.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video useful, please do give it a like. Request you to share it with your friends who might also benefit from this video. If you would like to see more such content, please do leave a comment in the comment section below and please do subscribe to watch more such videos. Thank you again.